Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, a Dominican developer breaks ground for a 5-star Hilton hotel in Salisbury. $250,000 approved for Community Service Day projects on Monday. And the opposition point to legalizing cannabis as a key pillar in reviving Dominica's agriculture. The details coming up.
Rudolph Thomas Enterprise in Portsmouth, your suppliers of building materials and hardware products. Over 20 years experience in the business. Rudolph Thomas has lumber and plywood, galvanized and fenced pipe. Check out Rudolph Thomas for ceramic and vinyl floor and wall tiles, nails, nuts and bolts, paint and painting supplies. And check out their line of electrical and hand tools. Go now to Rudolph Thomas on 1240 Bay Street in Portsmouth.
L'année tout partout. Attention si vous êtes homme et bien femme. Visitez place santé pour examiner corps. Ça c'est un nick pour yo ouais si l'année pièce moun au lion qui ni maladie TB et bien maladie sexuelle. En compagnie moun qui ni maladie HIV P ni TB aussi. Savent qui l'année guérison pour TB. Ou ça vivre en bonne santé même si ou ni maladie HIV. Parlez by docteur. Prends responsabilité. Aidez du bout de maladie TB et HIV. Pour agir tout le monde pour examiner corps.
The presence of a Hilton hotel brand in Dominica expected to elevate the country's presence on the international market. A design of magnificence, that's how Prime Minister Skerrit describes the Tranquility Beach Resort being built at Grand Savannah, Salisbury. Mr. Skerrit expressed pride in the fact that this hotel is being built by a Dominican.
This has always been the position of the government, seeking to empower Dominicans, whether you live here or you live overseas, to empower you. Let us all be constructive and positive and have a positive outlook on our country. And where we can collaborate and partner for the greater good of our country, then we must do so. And this is what this government has done with Mr. Ian Edwards, a local guy from Baffin State in Dominica. And I say to you, Ian, that this government, which I have the honor to lead, will do everything possible to ensure that this project is successfully completed and can be run with a profit in this country.
This hotel, along with a number of others under construction on the island, are being built under the Citizenship by Investment program. The Prime Minister acknowledged the challenges of competing against larger countries, coupled with efforts to negatively impact the CBI program.
You know that there are actions that are taken against our program, all designed to benefit their programs. And therefore, we have to be in the marketplace to share with prospective investors and stakeholders the attributes of our program. And I will say to all of you here present and those listening, as I've said on many occasions here in our country, that our program is run and managed in a prudent and responsible manner. Never allow ourselves as citizens and stakeholders to get carried away by what is now coined and popular now, fake news and news that are only destined to destroy our country. We go through a rigorous due diligence program exercise for every single applicant with many layers of due diligence. And there are countries with programs that do not have any due diligence as close to the rigorousness of our program. So I want to say to you that while we as a government, and I've said so publicly in the marketplace and in our country, while we welcome and appreciate the resources that we get and investments we receive from the CBI program, we will never do anything to undermine our program and of course our economy. And that's why due diligence is critical and foremost and paramount to us and in an uncompromising manner.
Speaking at Thursday's groundbreaking ceremony, the Prime Minister announced government's plans to build a mini golf course in the country. He believes such facilities can complement Dominica's already rich natural attributes. The Prime Minister has assured the developers that their request to expand the 73-room hotel to 100 rooms has been approved.
Reflecting on the journey, it started in 2014 when we bought this beautiful coastal property on which we stand today, right here in the village of Salisbury. After 2 years of designing, engineering, legal paperwork, negotiations with the CBI committee, and rigorous due diligence, we signed the MOU with the government and were granted the honor of being an authorized CBI real estate project. We had 2 more years learning the nuts and bolts of the demands of the market, networking with various stakeholders and agents in promoting Dominica and Tranquility Beach resorts in the markets. Now, here we stand on broken grounds.
Mark Nogal is Global Head, Curio Collection by Hilton.
I'm very excited to be here today to help celebrate this momentous occasion, this groundbreaking for the property here, which will be a huge addition for us. When we think about Tranquility Beach Resort and the features that are going to be offered here, it's absolutely stunning. I've been amazed by the plans and the information that I have seen. And what I think is going to be great is that this property will complement the nature island. When we take a look at what you have in this beautiful island, and I promise to come back, I'm here very briefly on this trip. I wasn't aware of all that there was with the thermals and with the rainforest and with the mountains and the beaches and the scuba diving and everything else, and not to mention the food. It's very, very important. You know, it is going to be a great addition for our collection, and we're looking forward to adding the hotel as one of our newest members. We hand-pick each Curio Collection property. No 2 are alike. Each one is an independent hotel. Our smallest hotel has 32 bedrooms. Our largest has 1,000 bedrooms. So we have a huge spread. And this property is going to be a perfect addition for us.
A number of students received awards at the National Independence Youth Rally on Friday. As is done each year at Independence Time, awards are presented to young people who excel in various fields including academics, sports, community involvement and leadership. The most outstanding female athlete at the 2018 Independence Athletics Meet was Trinise Hamilton of the Dominica Grammar School. A special award went to Kirk Edwards, who completed his bachelor's degree in math at UWI with first-class honors. He was valedictorian at the Open Campus in October. Edwards is the first Kalinago to attain this honor. Special sports award went to Ali Catanaz, highest run scorer in the 2018 Youth World Cup, scoring 418 runs. For some of you, the march past is among your favorite highlights of the National Youth Rally.
Khakis. And now they're doing their special salute to the Deputy Prime Minister, Honorable Reginald Austria.
Leader of the Dominica Freedom Party says Dominica is not yet a truly independent nation. His remarks come as the country gears up to celebrate 40 years of political independence on 3rd November. Speaking to Channel 5 News, leader of the DFP Kent Vital says in the first decade or 2 of independence, great strides were made in developing the country. However, in his view, some things have taken a downward trend since then. Vital acknowledges that Maria did have a negative impact on the country, but believes if proper structures were implemented, the country would have been better off after the storm.
We know there's some very disastrous events that just for a small country that could really throw you off tremendously. But if we had managed our economy well, if we had grown a strong agriculture and tourism sector, we could have built the kinds of fiscal reserves that we could draw upon. In a disaster like this. We did have the CBI funds. About 2 years ago, we seem to have had a bump in CBI, and unfortunately, in one sense, we have had this to rely on, because clearly we are not getting in grants from other countries. They were promised, but I'm saying a country that really depends on gifts is not truly an independent country.
Vital says moving forward, he would like to see the country develop programs to improve its fiscal reserve and become less dependent on the international community.
The basis has to be, your economic independence. You have to pursue economic independence, which means you have to build a strong agricultural sector. We have had on our program several programs where we spoke about what you needed to do, but there are several things in that area that you have to do, including paying attention to your marketing, paying attention to transportation, paying attention to your extension services, paying attention to your research, your market research as well as your product research, paying attention to what happens internationally in terms of health and health trends. These things we need to do better. We have to move tourism forward. The CBI funds, if it continues and if it's sustainable and we can finish the hotel, is a good thing. But we have to attend to all the other elements that to move tourism forward.
The Dominica Freedom Party came into power 2 years after Dominica gained political independence and governed until 1995. 69 projects to the tune of $250,000 approved for National Community Service Day on Monday.
Activities for the day, which is usually observed on 4th November, will be held on Monday, 5th November, as the 4th is a Sunday. Acting Local Government Commissioner Glenroy Toussaint says this year the focus is on climate-resilient community projects to keep to the vision of making Dominica the first climate-resilient country in the world.
We encouraged persons in communities and community-based groups to submit projects that were sort of designed looking at a climate resilience lens. So we were looking at basically storm drains, access roads. We were looking at things like improvement to public facilities that are used as shelters, you know, and things of that nature. Ramps were available for persons with disabilities and challenges. And so those sort of projects were encouraging because, as I said, we're looking at the whole thrust of Dominica becoming the first climate resilient country. And so that was the emphasis.
Toussaint says the department is working to have all material delivered to the respective project sites by the end of the week.
We had budgeted $250,000, and that would cover the cost of material, transportation, and other logistics as it relates to the program itself, National Day of Community Service. So far, we are making significant progress. I can report as of today, we have delivered most of the cement to all of the projects. We are continuing with delivery of materials, and we are going to concentrate heavily on tariff. We had some challenges in terms of with our suppliers, but that has been worked out. We are optimistic that all of the projects will receive all of the materials, bearing in mind that there's some items that may not be available on island. You know, we have some items, some small materials that may not be available on island. That's beyond us.
The acting local government commissioner is encouraging all Dominicans, both visiting and resident here, to get involved in Community Day of Service projects.
We are happy that we have a number of persons who are visiting, Dominicans who are visiting, and we would like to encourage them on the 5th of November, that's Monday the 5th of November, they get themselves engaged in some activities in the communities. We want to encourage as all Dominicans to get engaged on that day, notwithstanding the fact that their projects. You can do other things as well. We're not saying that we're limiting National Day of Community Service just the projects. You can do enhancement of your community, beautification, you can plant flowers if you want, you can plant trees if you want, you know, that sort of thing. We're encouraging persons to actively get involved.
National Day of Community Service officially marks the end of independence celebrations, which this year were being observed under the theme, My Love, My Home, My Dominica, Building a Resilient Nation. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
You're watching Channel 5 News. We'll have more after the break.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evil. Anywhere you are.
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
There's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
Leader of the parliamentary opposition, Hilton, calling for the legalization of cannabis with strict regulation to protect children as a key pillar to reviving the agriculture sector. Mr. Hilton told returning Dominicans Thursday This was a fundamental part of the overall strategy for the sustainable economic development of the country.
On the nature island of food and drink must be our medicine, and our medicine must be our nature island food and drink. Our herbs must heal the nation. Our herbs must heal the world, and so no plant or herb will be illegal in the nature island of the world.
The opposition leader says it's about time Dominica realizes and takes advantage of the potential benefits of cannabis to national development.
The potential of cannabis to generate hundreds of millions of dollars in income to farmers has been staring us in the face for over 5 years, and nothing has been done. There is therefore an urgent need at this 40th anniversary of independence milestone for Dominica to deal decisively with the issues involved in humanizing, legalizing, and industrializing cannabis in the interest of national health, wellness, and resilient economic development.
Mr. Linton issued a challenge to the country to take the necessary steps towards taking advantage of cannabis and its byproducts for the good of the nation.
Before the end of this year, Dominica must recognize the struggles of the Rastafari community in particular, and those in general who suffered over the years of illegality for the embrace of the human development powers of cannabis. Dominica must commit to a holistic approach to building a viable cannabis industry that will protect traditional stakeholders and ensure no interest group is left behind in sharing the health, wellness, and economic development benefits. Dominica must act now to take advantage of the increasing opportunities for job creation, foreign exchange earnings, and the wealthier nation. In addition, the availability and affordability of cannabis-based medicinal and wellness products will significantly reduce the incidence of non-communicable diseases and thereby lead to a healthier nation.
Dominica is being described as a maturing country on the eve of the 40th anniversary of independence.
That's according to Secretary-Treasurer of the Waterfront and Allied Workers Union, WAWU, Curtis Augustus. On the topic of protecting workers' rights, Augustus says some of the more progressive labor legislation has been enacted under the country's independent status.
So we have the Industrial Relations Act, we have the Protection of Employment Act, we have the Labor Standard Act, we have the Labor Contract Act, we have the Employment Safety Act, we have the Protection of Wages Act, and others like this. Now, all of these, to a certain degree, give a level of security and protection to the workers of this country. We, nonetheless, believe that although it is progressive, and although it's on our statute books, there is need for us to be constantly monitoring it with the intention of improving on the legislation.
Augustus says one of the pieces of legislation of particular concern to him is that of severance legislation.
One of those that I would like to see is a severance legislation, because although you have the situation where once you reach the age of retirement, that the Social Security is supposed to be looking after you, looking at you, providing you with the benefits that you have accumulated over the years. But I believe that we need to look at others, like the severance legislation, because you could have a situation where a worker have worked 40 years with a company and then goes out with absolutely nothing from the company, except that the company will say, okay, we have provided for you in the Social Security. But when I look at what is happening in the other countries of the Caribbean, I see similar bits and pieces of legislation that benefit workers, and I would like to see such in Dominica.
WAWU Secretary-Treasurer says in the coming years, he would like to see the fostering of a deeper relationship between trade unions and government.
I believe that the administration must take the trade union more into their confidence and to treat us as co-equals in the process. The theme for 2018 at the ILO is social dialogue. And I think that this is one that we should institutionalize in Dominica, that we have regular dialogue with the administration. We used to have that in the form of debate discussions, what the private sector, what the trade unions would like to see in the budget, and so on. That is a form, but we need to make that even better by having more regular consultation.
Wawu has been representing workers' rights in Dominica for 54 years.
And one lucky man from Ansdeme is the latest Powerball winner. He secured over $200,000 in winnings and picked up his prize on Friday.
I feel good, as I say, because it's a lot of money in time like this, and I feel happy to have it.
Okay, would you encourage others to play the game?
Yes, I would say that you have to be in it to play it, and encouraging everyone to play it and just be patient.
Okay, and as I said earlier on, before we present the check, that we at the lottery gave out over $500,000 to this year's independence, and now we're giving away over $246,000. We're still awaiting a winner for the Super 6 of over $610,000. So the National Lottery is making a significant contribution towards sports culture and financial assistance towards Dominica. So we encourage the entire public to go out there to play our games, because as we say in our slogan, everything is possible with the Dominica National Lottery.
M&J Covering is the producer of designed galvanized and galvalume in Dominica. They design to your specifications, color and length, 4 styles of galvanized and galvalume pre-painted roofing sheets as requested, and supply all your galvalume accessories. M&J Covering helps you control spending and reduce waste. At M&J Covering, they are also equipped to build your roof to precise standards anywhere on island. So come to M&J Covering at 1 Mile in Portsmouth, or call 445-5001, 275-5003 today.
To end the news, a look again at the headlines. A Dominican developer breaks ground for a 5-star Hilton hotel in Salisbury. $250,000 approved for Community Service Day projects on Monday, and the opposition points to legalizing cannabis as a key pillar in reviving Dominica's agriculture. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You can access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Do have a happy Independence Weekend.